the theme park capital of the world, bringing you the latest in theme park news. Welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast.
And this is weird. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast. I'm Clint.
Did you say ThrillGeek Podcast?
I did.
Why, I haven't heard that words since
let me look at my watch.
September of 2021.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Episode 182.
Yeah, we are
about Halloween 2.5 years ago.
We are starting fresh. I unfortunately the old ThrillGeek Podcast is dead.
Yes.
So this will not be a continuation. So this is starting. We are starting at episode 1 with new expectations, a little bit more organization this time around. Barry and I have been going over just kind of making it a better product, so to speak, this time around.
Little less ums and yes.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, we've done a lot of discussion with what we're going to be, how we're going to break things down. Back when we did the podcast, we did a lot of talking about every single little theme park news that really didn't. We eventually figured out that didn't have to happen. Really quick, before we dive into our first recording here, we do have news to talk about. We're going to kind of go over really quick. We're going to be recording, we're going to be posting bi-weekly. First things first, for those of you that are new listeners, for those of you that are coming back, we appreciate it. For my sanity, which is
mine
and Barry's, one of the reasons why we just got burnt out, to be honest and upfront. Producing a podcast episode every single week was a lot on all of us, and we're going to be sticking to a bi-weekly schedule. Now, if something comes up to where we need to squeeze in a third episode, I'm not against it. For our regular recordings, we're going to be sticking to bi-weekly. So every other week, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be posting on Tuesdays. That's kind of what I'm sticking for our new episodes. So this one will be posted Tuesday, and then bi-weekly, so forth and so on. Anyways, I can't think of anything else, Barry. Kind of, we've been going over a lot of housekeeping things with the new podcast. We're still going to be talking about the latest theme park news. That's what we do here at ThrillGeek. So we're just trying to make it more conversational and less just reading theme park news and going in that format.
I think we're trying to just be more conversational, and we'll also be bringing in some guests too to join us and talk about the news and different topics, whatever we decide we're going to talk about on here.
And we are working on bringing a new permanent person on, and we'll talk about that more later when the time is right. So without further ado, let's dive into the news, because we do have, like I said, we do have some stuff to talk about. Quick housekeeping thing right before we dive into it here. This reminded me, we are not going to be live streaming the podcast. We are strictly going to be recording audio and video version. We will upload the video version to our YouTube. So if you're a person that enjoys the video version of a podcast, we are going to be putting the video version up on our YouTube channel. We're going to be having slideshows of what we're talking about. So if you're more of a visual person, definitely be sure to check out the video version of the podcast on our YouTube channel. So no more live streaming. I'm going to get going here. And the first thing we're going to actually quickly talk about, because there's not much here to talk about, is Disney revealed Disney's just cranking out these ships. It's quite impressive how fast. I mean, we got the Disney Treasure, which is now, I believe they actually had to move it out to start building this ship that we're going to talk about for a few minutes here. The Disney Treasure moved out into the water, and now they've announced the name of their next ship after the Disney Treasure, and this is the Disney Destiny. This ship will be coming after the Treasure, and what's really interesting about this one is the theme is going to be heroes versus villains. So I'm very curious where they're going to be.
A lot more interesting than some of the other themes.
Yeah, we haven't been on the Disney Wish yet, and there's been a lot of people saying that the Disney Wish is a very I use the word sterile. It's a very kind of blah ship compared to the fantasy.
a lot of people who I know who have gone on a lot of Disney cruises, they do not like the layout. They just it hasn't really clicked with a lot of people, but unfortunately these new ships are based on the Wish layout. Obviously they've made some changes here and there we've seen so far from the Wish. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the feedback they've heard from some guests. Obviously, a lot of things get locked into place. So
I don't know how much changes you can do. Sure you can,
it's like they've already built the interior of the ship. So it's like,
I'm no cruise ship building expert, but I don't know how much changes you can do to the interior of a trip, like structure wise. So, but the one thing that I did want to talk about is, as we all know, the Disney Treasure is getting the Haunted Mansion. I forgot what they're calling it. Haunted Mansion Lounge. Bar. I mean, it's bar. Barry and I, both being huge Haunted Mansion fans, are incredibly excited about. But with this one, and this one's going to be kind of a visual thing. So if you're watching the video version of the podcast, I'll try my best to describe it. When they announced the Disney Destiny, they posted this little cartoon video of the coin. When they do like a hull laying of a ship, a keel laying, they place a coin down there. It's a tradition. They place it down in the keel, and it's just a tradition they do with like ships and cruise ships and stuff. Anyways, they posted a little cartoon of Minnie Mouse on the ship, and the coin is missing. So she goes all over the ship looking for the coin. And there's this one shot of this hallway would look like little porthole doors at the very end of the video. It's almost like a cliffhanger, like an end credit scene. They threw this out there at the very end, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 8 doors, and each of them, well, besides the ones down here at the end, they each have a logo on it of something Disney. Obviously, the first one here, they have Edna Mode. It looks like Pirates of the Caribbean. There's a skull with swords crossed. Spider-Man, Black Panther. And what's really interesting is the one right here. There's another Haunted Mansion wallpaper face thing on this door. So are we going to get another something Disney Haunted Mansion cruise ship?
Possibly.
I don't know. I mean, I know they did the Star Wars lounge on the Disney Wish, and I can't remember if they're doing it again on the Treasure. Yeah, so it was just interesting. I wanted to bring that up. Barry and I being huge Haunted Mansion fans, they are possibly looking like they're teasing something Haunted Mansion with the... I just don't get how the heroes and villains thing would tie into Haunted Mansion.
Who knows?
That's what I was trying to figure out, because if the whole ship is a hero's...
Hatbox Ghost is a villain. I don't know, whatever.
I mean, they're ghosts. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how the Haunted Mansion thing works into the heroes versus villain things. Anyways, it was just something that I thought I'd bring up and chit chat for a minute about. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Could we see maybe like a Haunted Mansion dining venue? That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be wild.
Go from the bar on the Disney Treasure to a full dining venue on the Disney Destiny. That would sell me in a heartbeat. So
yeah.
Anyways, let's move on over to Tokyo Disney, and they got an interesting announcement of a new, not a new attraction, an update to a current attraction that had a lot of people up in arms. It's a Small World is going to be getting Marvel characters. Barry, you being a huge Tokyo Disney fan, what did you think about this announcement?
I mean, if Tokyo Disney is finally going to get something Marvel, which I am sure, based on some of the things we've seen online, Disney has been pitching Marvel stuff to them for years now. But MCU is not as big in Japan. It's popular, but it's not. But you know what? If you're going to finally do something Marvel at Tokyo Disney, why not make it kawaii? I imagine there's going to be a lot of merchandise with this because it's it's only for a limited time, and I don't think it's some people who are up and it's a limited time thing. They're going to do it for a certain amount of time. It's cutesy characters. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of plushes and everything else that Tokyo Disney does for every single event over there, and they finally get Marvel in the parks there, at least for a little bit. So
Yeah, somebody, I forgot who it was, but somebody brought up a good point of now that Universal Studios Japan has closed their Spider-Man attraction,
Yeah.
they kind of fell under the same stipulations as we do over here in the States. They couldn't have anything Marvel at Tokyo Disney because of Spider-Man. So now that their Spider-Man attraction is closed, Tokyo Disney can get in on some of the Marvel stuff. Whereas over here, it's the whole east of the Mississippi thing. That's why we don't have anything Marvel here because of the whole Universal contract thing with Marvel and that whole thing. So, but yeah, It's a Small World with Groot, and basically the premise of the update is going to be Groot's going to be going on vacation throughout all these different areas around the world, and you're going to run into all sorts of different Marvel characters, as you can tell from the poster. If you're watching the video version of the podcast, there's going to be Hulk, Thor, Captain America, all the Guardians of the Galaxy characters. I see Doctor Strange in there, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man, everybody, Black Panther.
I mean, I guess a lot of like, Disney diehards are up in arms because you're basically putting characters that have killed people into It's a Small World. But you know what? They're little kawaii chibi versions of these characters. It's a limited time event. I'm sure it's gonna look cool. And you know what? We would kill once again over here at Disney World for any sort of like limited time event, or even for our Small World to finally get updated. Yeah, with the characters, like every other Small World in the entire world has been done. Don't knock it until you're in that position. So it's like,
I think it was more or less a shock value. Like, I don't think anybody anticipated Marvel and It's a Small World coming together. Oh, hit my microphone. I think a lot of people
remember things are different at Tokyo Disney.
Yeah. Very different demographic over there with people that have different interests, and I don't see them ever slapping in Avengers Campus over there. I mean, they're getting Fantasy Springs, which absolutely blows Avengers Campus away.
Yeah, no, they're getting Avengers Campus.
Yeah, I don't see Tokyo Disney ever getting any sort of like Avengers Land. Would they ever get an Avengers ride? Maybe standalone somewhere, but I don't see them ever getting like a full on, Avengers themed Avengers Campus land.
I mean, their latest parade that they created for the 40th anniversary was the first time I think any Pixar characters had been in a daily parade there. So it's like they are very traditional there, and
they're also getting it. I can't remember when they're getting it, but they're also getting a new nighttime show, and I believe, if I remember correctly, that's going to have Marvel in it. So,
I can't remember if Marvel was in part of their nighttime show that the castle show they have right now. I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's you're going to see a little bit more Marvel there than you've had before.
Speaking of Disney World and our additions, they announced several. They did a day where they announced pretty much one thing for each park except for Magic Kingdom, which is getting
exciting things for this summer.
Yeah. Disney World always does this summer build-up thing where they have these limited time things throughout the summer. And the first one was a new Celebration Encanto show at EPCOT, which will make its debut on June 10th and will run through the summer. And this will also be the opening of the Communicore Plaza stage. So that's finally getting wrapped up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice little, I think it's going to be Bruno and Mirabelle, and it's going to be a sing-along show. Look, it's a nice quick way to finally get something, besides the meet and greets, some more Encanto in the parks, because obviously Encanto is very, 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 very popular. And you know what? And it's a nice. I'm all for any new shows. It's like, we had a new little show debut at EPCOT in the last 2 weeks, and some people were like complaining about it. It's like, be happy. Disney World is putting in new entertainment. It's like, don't complain.
Oh, are you talking about the I can't think of the name of the show, but it has the lady from
Nightmare Fuel. But yeah, it's a little Cirque show. Yeah, and you know what? Be happy. Disney World is creating new shows and new entertainment. We've been complaining about this since the pandemic. I'm happy, you know, we're obviously happy Communicore Hall is going to be open too. So
yeah, and it looks like this stage will be. Let me go back to the picture here. This stage will be covered, so it'll be a nice little break from the Florida heat during the summer.
Yeah, we've been waiting to see how much of that area is going to be covered, and whether there might also be some seating off to the side and stuff like that. But it's going to be a lot nicer setup than the World Showcase Plaza stage, which is basically like you're on the surface of the sun there. During the summertime, and a lot of times of the year, so it's going to be just going to be a nicer setup for the festival type stuff.
And then moving over to Disney Springs, this is going to be pretty cool. I'm all for new drone shows. Disney Springs will be getting a new nighttime drone show called Disney Dreams That Soar, and it'll basically be, the description was kind of vague. It said a showcase of Disney stories celebrating the joy of flight with state-of-the-art drones choreographed to create designs in the sky and paired with a soaring musical score. We got what was the drone show we got at Disney Springs several years back? Was that the Christmas one?
It was a Christmas one.
So we got that one.
For the time, it was interesting. Everything we've heard so far, like rumors about this one, this is going to be an impressive show.
Yeah.
They want to wow people with this show. And, and this is also, I think, a test too, to see how guests in the
react
US
to drones,
react to a drone show at Disney. Fingers crossed, right? We're gonna hopefully see them bring Disney Springs hours back to where they were before, instead of this 11:30 type of stuff. That
how late was Disney Springs open till before? 1?
Was it 1 on Fridays and Saturdays, and then
I want to say it was 1 o'clock
Sunday through Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous that they close at 11:30 on a freaking Friday and Saturday night. That's just nuts.
Yeah.
But hopefully this will bring back, I would assume a little bit later hours, because it is summertime. They're not going to be able to do this till 9 o'clock at the earliest.
Because a day late.
Probably later.
Yeah.
And we got to assume they're going to probably do 2 shows a night, probably, because that area around the water there, it's not the largest area. And so, but yeah, I'm expecting this. I'm excited for this, and
I've been completely jealous of Disneyland Paris. They've been absolutely killing it with their drone shows over there. The jealousy is real. Some of the stuff they've done with the drones and that what was it, the Main Street pageant show that they did at nighttime.
I
can't remember the exact
parade and
that drone thing. Impressive. Oh my god, it was so unbelievable.
And that to me is how you do a drone show, because they still do the fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
They still do their regular. I think they're doing Dream. I think they brought back Dreams or something right now. You still do the fireworks show. Like this is the thing we've talked about before. Like Magic Kingdom needs something else at night. Ultimately, yes, we want a nighttime parade. That's the busiest castle park in the world should have a nighttime parade. If you're not going to do that, then do something like Disneyland Paris has done on top of the fireworks. You need, people seem to forget, it wasn't that long ago, summertime, like some busy nights during the summer, Magic Kingdom stayed open till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And then most of the summer it was open till midnight. We haven't seen that in years. But also we used to run an electrical parade at that time. That stuff keeps people in the parks late. Don't tell me. You can see now what happens after Happily Ever After. That park clears out.
It just dumps out. Yeah.
It dumps out. It overloads the ferry and the monorails. And also they're not making as much money.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not staying open late. And yes, it costs money to run a nighttime parade twice, but people are buying stuff. They're buying all those sparkly things. They're buying additional food because they're staying later. All that makes a difference of having a nighttime parade. And we can do it. I always laugh when people are like, oh, well, they can't handle the crowds anymore. It's like, have you ever been to Disneyland when Disneyland is running fireworks?
Parade?
And Fantasmic. And normally they don't, and a nighttime parade.
Yep.
They did that. 2 summers ago, they were running all 3.
Yeah, it's doable.
If Disneyland can do it. I think we can go back to having a nighttime parade and a fireworks show. I think my Magic Kingdom and their very big and large parade route can handle it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think this is like a test to see really will drones work in the US, and so I mean,
yeah, because we haven't had much other than, like I said, the Christmas show at Disney Springs, and that was how many years ago was that? That was a while ago.
It's a long. It'd be an easy way to bring a nighttime show back to Animal Kingdom. Just saying.
Yeah.
You can get drones, and I think drones without them flying over people's heads.
Yeah. So. Yep. So okay, all right. Moving on. With Disney had their annual shareholders meeting, and lo and behold, everybody was anticipating, and I was not, because I didn't see it happening, Tiana's Bayou Adventure opening date, but that did not happen. But we did get a few little tidbits of news from the shareholder meeting from Iger. The first thing that they teased was, we're going to kind of go off our theme park news and talk about Moana 2, but not much to talk about. They unveiled
we got a picture.
We got a picture. We got a picture of Moana. Obviously, she's grown up a little bit more. She looks a little different. You can see her here if you're watching the video version with her.
Is that like a monster in the background?
I was trying to figure out what that was, like with the teeth and the eyes back there. Yeah. It looks like some kind of island giant monster thing. I don't know if that's what she's going to be facing in the movie. So, but yeah, not much there. We got Moana 2. The big announcement unveiling was Disney's still talking about this Avatar expansion attraction, whatever it's going to be, coming to Disneyland, and whether it's going. This is now that this Disneyland Forward thing is going in front of the Anaheim, City Council. For approval. Disney's slowly starting to kind of tease people with what, and everybody was trying to figure out where this Avatar expansion would go. Would it go in California Adventure? I don't see how it would fit in California Adventure.
There's a spot. Someone's already found what they think would be the spot. So,
well, I know there were a lot of people talking about what's the Rapids ride.
They talked about that, but I don't think that's one place a lot of the West Coasters have talked about. It would be off Hollywood land, and it would be interesting because, you could sort of go, say, maybe through a portal. And basically there's right outside where Hollywood land is a bus loop that apparently, if the Disneyland Forward plan gets approved, that bus loop goes bye-bye. And is moved to a different location.
Yeah.
And there's definitely enough space in there to hold a show building. Because they're trying to think maybe something. It's this based on the concept art things, more Way of the Water themed look to it. Yeah,
this definitely looks like Avatar 2, the sequel.
And someone what's the size of Shanghai Pirates? Because remember, Shanghai Pirates has a whole scene where you go from underwater to the top of the water
to up above,
and thinking along that lines, and the Shanghai show building would fit in this area, and we can tell. I mean, going back to the concept artwork piece here, for those of you watching the video version, it's definitely a boat ride. You can clearly see people in some kind of boat shaped ride vehicle. That boat does look similar in size to the Shanghai Pirates.
To the Shanghai Pirate, yeah. I don't remember what the Shanghai Pirates ride boat, whatever you want to call it, looks like. There were a lot of people immediately, I'm scrolling through Twitter when this dropped, saying that it looked very Shanghai Pirates-ish. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. When and if this Disneyland Forward thing gets approved, I'm guessing Disney's going to start, putting to the pedal to the floor here with what they're going to do with that expansion. And will this be a part of it? We'll have to wait and see. It looks cool.
It's way early.
Yeah, it's still too early to kind of say where it's going or anything. But obviously, we will bring you any official details Disney shares when they do. Moving on, we're gonna head down to the Bayou and talk about some Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Disney's been this is another thing, talking about the Disneyland Forward thing. They've been kind of trickling out details about Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and we got our closest look yet at the incredibly impressive animatronics for this attraction. Disney unveiled that. They unveiled the ride poster, which we'll show you guys a little bit later in the video here. We got Tiana. I'm just going to kind of scroll through the pictures here. Here's Prince Ralphie on the drum set. We got Mama Odie. She looks fantastic. I cannot believe how
her movement is just. I mean, all the movements on these animatronics are just jaw dropping because they are the A1000s, the latest. And Louie alone, there's Imagineering debuted a new series on YouTube. If you don't mind spoilers, watch it. You'll see Louie without his skin on, and I mean, he's one of the biggest figures they've ever created. As far as the newer ones, the biggest animatronic is over on Sinbad, and the genie on Sinbad. He's gigantic, but he's more of a limited movement. He doesn't move the way Louie does, where it's wild to see the movement and just the skeleton too, the size and everything. And there's going to be multiple Louies in the attraction. So.
And then here's a look at Tiana again. She looks incredible when she's moving. Just the movements look so realistic. We're not getting screen faces. I'm so glad those are a thing of the past. I would love for them.
That was another thing in that video too with Tiana. I think some people online was like, "What? Were we going to see Tiana as a princess?" In the background of one of the shots in that video, you can see her head and a crown.
The guy that caught that on Twitter, I was like, "You got an impressive eye, sir." Because that was pretty impressive.
I think they're going to save her for the finale.
It looks like she's in some sort of kind of finale princess gown kind of attire.
I think I think we saw some pieces from the finale with Ralphie on the drums and what's her her mom and I always forget the girl,
Charlotte.
Charlotte. All looked. Everything looked impressive. And everything we've heard. They didn't officially say how many animatronics are in this attraction, but from what I've heard, Splash had 60. People are saying this has over 40, and like over 40 new updated animatronics in this attraction are new. They're all new. They're all the new electric. Same thing that's happening in Country Bears is they're all getting replaced with these new electric servo animatronics.
That's what they said with Lewis. He's
pneumatics.
Yeah, he's electric. He's fully electric. He's no more. That's what I thought was really cool is they're doing away with the pneumatic and the hydraulics and all that stuff.
We're talking the same as the Shaman in the Avatar attraction. It's all smoothness. There's no noise. I think the only funny thing I feel about this attraction is the fact that is the kids who aren't going to be able to ride because of the height restriction. People seem to forget this still has a drop on it. And I think we've talked about that before. That's going to be the interesting thing is are they going to turn down the wetness a little bit?
You know what's funny is I mean you get splashed on the drop, but the one thing that always got me on Splash Mountain was that darn waterfall.
Geyser. I hate
the geyser too, but when you come down the big drop and you do that U-turn and you go back, there's a waterfall there that splashes on the concrete. And that's the thing too, is you would get stuck there from the boats backing up, and that's where I always got soaked the most, was that little waterfall.
Well, I remember they always talk that they can adjust the splash because Splash Mountain in Tokyo, you don't really get wet on. Yeah. Because Japanese don't like to get wet.
Yeah.
Except for unless they're specifically doing something to even though I said, they have, I think, a parade during the summer where the whole thing is about people getting wet and stuff. So, but no, I mean, everything, the critters.
Yeah. They've unveiled a plethora of critters. We're not going to go through all of them, but some of them include Rufus the turtle, Apollo the raccoon, Gritty the rabbit, Pawpaw the bobcat. And then there's 2 or 3 black bears, Claude, and then he's one of 3 black bears.
Yeah. And there's going to be a ton of merchandise for this attraction. Actually.
Oh yeah. As you guys can see,
Louis, one of those Sleepy plushes. He's debuted in Target already.
I saw somebody drop that.
Because a Disney store in Target will have some Tiana's Bayou Adventure merchandise, but who's not going to want to buy those critters? I mean, come on, they're adorable.
Yeah, they were pretty adorable. We have the entire list up on ThrillGeek.com of all the critters and all the little. They came out with like little cards of their pictures of what they look like and how you can look for them when the ride opens later this summer. We still don't have an opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure here at Magic Kingdom, but it's got to be soon. I mean, there's tons of video of them testing with people in the logs, and it's got to be, things have got to be.
Scaffolding slowly starting to come down.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. Some of the construction walls have been pushed back a little bit,
which means they're doing a lot of outside work right now.
Yeah, so
scaffolding's coming down. People have actually been on the attraction, so they are in the final. As far as the attraction, since it's cycling, they're in the test and adjust phase.
Yeah,
for the attraction itself, and then they're putting the final touches on the outside of the attraction.
We got to be close to some sort of announcement for an opening date. And
I think the interesting thing with the poster, I like the poster. I like the design of the poster. I do find it funny that she's standing in front of the drop. But
yeah,
I was the only one who pointed that out. But
there were some Splash Mountain Stan accounts that were like, "There's not enough water on this poster." Which I kind of understood coming from your perspective. She's like standing right in front of in the artwork. She's standing right in front of the drop in the mountain. And that was just kind of a weird design for it instead of her. I don't know how they could have redesigned it. But.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is going to be the interesting thing is on the sign too, the buildings. Some people have speculated. I find it interesting. Like we've talked before about what the heck's going on with Pecos Bill. Is it going to get updated? Are they going to do something? They're obviously not going to do anything in time for the attraction to open.
Yeah, but who knows down the road?
I wonder if it came down to they want to get this. They want to get Country Bears open.
Yeah,
and then we'll worry about what do we do about Pecos Bill. Do we keep it? Do we turn it into some sort of like, I don't think they're going to turn it into Tiana's place because that would just look weird.
I never understood some of the people saying they should change it into Tiana's place because
I've always said it would be so easy to like turn it into actually Tiana's Foods.
Yeah.
And then that would make sense with what's here. We don't have a New Orleans Square like they've already obviously done over at Disneyland with Tiana's place. But I think you go with the Tiana's Foods theme, and you can easily turn Pecos Bill into that. And we'll be interested to see.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it just, they want to get these attractions done, and then we'll worry about the restaurant and stuff like that. Obviously, they're going to be selling. We know where they're going to be selling beignets somewhere. That's a duh because they did the test. That location didn't really handle it really well because there was always a crazy line from everyone I know who went by there. It was always packed. I'm sure they'll figure out something because they got to sell it. Bare minimum, we got to be having beignets from day one, and that's a must. So.
Yep, and hopefully they're the same because Disneyland beignets just hit differently. So.
Ones at Port Orleans are pretty good, so I think they were pretty similar to those.
I wanted those cookies and cream. Were they Haunted Mansion themed? Not to get off topic. There were some cookies and cream.
I never got by for those
beignets that looked absolutely.
Got them and said they were really good.
Yeah, they were like cookies and cream beignets, and I was like, oh my god, those look absolutely amazing. So, all right. I think that's it for our Disney news on this episode. We're going to scoot on over to Universal really quick and talk about some closures happening at City Walk. Yeah. Universal announced that Cinnabon and Quiet Flight will be closing here very soon. What will be replacing it, nobody knows. And
Cinnabon will probably show up somewhere else, bare minimum, as some sort of stand or something like, or kiosk or something like that.
Okay,
which makes sense. There's still a Cinnabon. There's still going to be a Cinnabon in Islands of Adventure. So, there will still be a kitchen making Cinnabon. So why would you not put bare minimum a stand up somewhere in City Walk?
There were a lot of people upset about Cinnabon closing, not so much Quiet Flight. Cinnabon and Quiet Flight at Universal City Walk will close and make way for exciting new experiences. The last day of operation for Quiet Flight is April 14th, and Cinnabon, in its current location, which that was the wording of the announcement from Universal, will be closing on April 28th. Then they said more details will be revealed soon. So the Cinnabon in its current location makes me believe that they're going to relocate it somewhere, whether it's a stand or whether it's a kiosk.
There's plenty of places like up on the upper part that I think it could easily go. Bare minimum a stand, Quiet Flight, but both locations, these basically haven't changed much since City Walk opened.
Yeah, I mean,
they're sort of like the last vestiges of the old City Walk.
Obviously, the big news with Quiet Flight is back in the day, everybody had their bypass going to Halloween Horror Nights. You could cut through, and I forgot, what store did you come out in?
You came out of you cut in through Quiet Flight, and you came out of, oh crap,
I can't even
remember is they sold what are those expensive ass button-up shirts with the tropical shirts, but
Tommy Bahamas?
Tommy Bahamas, yeah.
Was it Tommy Bahama? Yeah.
It wasn't. That wasn't the name of the store, but that's basically what that part of the store sold. I'll be honest to see if it ends up connecting. I think you said this too, connecting to the back of the Universal Studios store, maybe.
If you go back and you look at when they announced the Universal Studios store, there is Nintendo artwork in the windows of the store.
Yeah.
So that began people speculating that this is going to be a Nintendo expansion for the Universal Studios store, which would make sense because you have Potter, and then you have all the you have Transformers, and you have the Minions already there. What's the next big IP coming to Universal Orlando at Epic Universe?
Nintendo.
Universal Studios Hollywood did a lot of pre-Nintendo merchandise sales before Super Nintendo World opened there at Universal Studios Hollywood. So it would make sense for them to do something here at Universal Orlando in its current location with the two parks before Epic Universe opens.
They are pretty methodical about the stuff, so it's or earlier, but I think why would you not put in a Nintendo store here in this City Walk too? So
yeah, it just makes sense.
We will see.
But Quiet Flight, again, is closing April 14th, and then the last day of operation for Cinnabon will be April 28th. So look for those closures here soon. And as soon as we hear or see any official details, where Cinnabon is being relocated, obviously we will bring those to you as well, because everybody's got to have their Cinnabon. There were a lot of people upset about the Cinnabon closing. It was pretty interesting.
The last time I had Cinnabon, the one time I went to the Orlando Informer event, and I didn't have to pay for it. You didn't have to pay for it. We walked out of there with handfuls of the Cinnabon, whatever. I don't even remember which one. It was probably the centers they were giving.
Oh, the center of the rolls are so good. The ooey gooey goodness.
Out with a bunch of those.
They're so good.
At the end of the night.
Wrapping up here, what would a ThrillGeek podcast our first episode be without some Halloween Horror Nights discussion? It wouldn't be a ThrillGeek podcast. Is what it would not be. So we got our first details about Halloween Horror Nights 2024, 33, whatever you want to call it. There were no house announcements or anything. It was the usual select tickets are on sale, your single day, your express passes, all that stuff. And they did the new merch drop, which can be seen here for those of you watching the video. The new slogan, they're finally doing away with the never go alone thing, which I was pretty happy about. There were a lot of people kind of up in arms about this very bright orange shirt that they debuted. The new catchphrase, I guess this year they're going with, is "Where Horror Lives." And it is a very psychedelic punk Van Warped Tour kind of artwork, emo. So what did you think of it, Barry? Is this something you would rock, or?
This shirt, no. There's been two other signs that are up, I guess, in the 5 and dime.
Yeah,
I was like, if you put that on a shirt,
I
might be up for that. It actually, and I think the other stuff looks better than this stuff does. If we're going, maybe possibly for like an emo punk overall theme for this event, maybe this year, I'm all for that. That hasn't been the closest anybody's done to anything like that. Was what Hello Scream X with the whole My X and
I remember that
alternative female led alternative rock band thing. So if we're going for like a sort of punk emo type theme, I'd be all for that. That would be fun. That would be something different. So, I mean, overall, as far, we cover Horror Nights, but do I get excited for this first announcement with dates and single day tickets? Not really. I don't.
We never
don't
really
have the energy.
I never really get excited for this. I mean, is it kind of the kickoff for, for official announcements and stuff? Sure. But there wasn't, there was the usual price increases and, kind of stuff to go over, which we're not going to really dive into. No. But the one thing that was interesting is the Behind the Screams Unmasking the Horror Tour, the 3 house tour this year. They are starting it in mid-August with select dates from August 11th through the end of the month. And this was kind of the big thing to come out of this announcement, where they're starting this, obviously Horror Nights starting August 30th and 31st. And this 3 house tour is starting as early as August 11th. So what did you think about this, Barry? Do you think this is going to be something they're probably going to do with the tent houses, or what do you think about this?
Last year the 3 house tour was
it the tent houses?
It was the 2 tent houses, and then Last of Us.
Okay.
Those houses are all done sooner than the soundstage houses are. Soundstage houses are always the last to be done. I think this is, once again, they tried it last year with the food event and it didn't really work. This is once again their way to try to make a little extra money before the event starts. I mean, to me, it would be, much as I do the Behind the Screams Unmasking the Horror Tour every year, either the 3rd or the 6th house, I would not want to walk through the house with the lights on before I've gone through it with the lights on opening night. So
that was a big thing that a lot of people were talking about was, you're going to be going through 3 of the houses before you even get to do them with all the effects, all the lighting, all the scare actors. So is that going to kind of ruin it for you? It was an interesting topic about people saying
there will be a bunch of bloggers.
But do you think Universal would do you think Universal would do something about not recording?
I mean, do you think that would upset to begin with? You're not allowed to do any video at all.
Yeah, you're only allowed to take photos in certain areas, right?
You're only allowed to take photos in certain areas. The original houses are usually less restrictive than if people. I think this is like them testing another thing again this year. It's like those houses are done. Why not go ahead and do a 3 house tour for them before the event starts? And they like to make money off this event, so it's
and I don't blame them. Halloween Horror Nights is their biggest event. I mean,
the food thing didn't work last year. It clearly did not sell well enough, and so I think this is let's try something else. These houses are always done. Let's go ahead and have people tour them if they want to pay for the tour. They can pay for the tour, and
sure.
And I think that's just like I said, it's another idea to come up with some other way to
make some money before the event starts.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, they start building these houses pretty quickly.
Yeah,
after
the 2 tent houses are the last to be torn down, and then the first to be built.
This was the big news that came out of it. Obviously, like Barry was saying, there's not much to talk about. With the initial, tickets are, select tickets are on sale, the express passes, the RIP tours, all that jazz. So we're not going to spend too much time on it. The one thing that was interesting was them starting Behind the Screams Unmasking the Horror Tour almost 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks before the event starts. So obviously, as with every year with Halloween Horror Nights, as we get official details from Universal, we will bring them all to you. You can check out our HHN Ultimate Thrill Guide, thrillgeek.com/HHN, which I did add the prices for the RIP Tour and Express and single day tickets and all that jazz up on our Halloween Horror Nights Ultimate Thrill Guide. So if you do want to check those out, they will be there. So, all right. I think that's about it. Yeah, we did good. We did good. Yeah, once again, thank you everybody for coming back. If you're returning, like I said at the beginning of the recording, if you're new, welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast. Hopefully we'll continue to get things locked down here, and like I said, we'll stick to this bi-weekly schedule. and will be available as soon as I get this one pushed out on all the podcast platforms. And the video version will be on YouTube, as I said. So
I think we covered everything. I'm at Culture and Thrills on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Twitter and TikTok.
And YouTube.
Don't add Barry as a friend on Facebook because he's never on it.
No. No. I'm just there for business purposes only. And then
I think if you want to follow me, my personal stuff, my Twitter, my Instagram is at IamCG83. If you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you can do that as well. So, but yeah, let's get on out of here, Barry. Let's wrap it up. And yeah, we
are at ThrillGeek on all major social media channels. Visit youtube.com/ThrillGeek. That is the video home for the ThrillGeek podcast and all of our other videos and live streams. ThrillGeek.com for the latest in theme park and pop culture news. And of course, you are listening to and maybe watching the ThrillGeek podcast.
Yeah. So thanks again, guys. We appreciate you guys. It's good to be back doing the old podcast thing again. So we will see you guys again in a couple weeks. So take care, be safe, and we'll see you guys next time.
Be safe. See you in the parks.
Bye.